Welcome to the Sub Hub podcast. I'm EmKay Sullivan.
And I'm Dani Moreno. And today we are going to do a catch up in true Trail Tales Subhub podcast style. I just got back from my team camp. EmKay's been training, getting after it, prepping for, late spring. Well, it's almost summer too, which is
I
kind
know.
of crazy. But yeah, we decided it's a good time to catch up because also we just haven't chatted that much. And yeah, but first and foremost, newsletter. Tell the folks, EmKay.
Yeah, it didn't come out on April 1st, partially because would it have been a joke then? I saw so many crazy like social media jokes yesterday that
Yeah.
I feel like it was a good thing that we didn't put the pod or the headlines out. But it will come out on Friday of this week, same time as the podcast. So you guys will get plenty of stuff for your weekend. We will talk a bit about the trail team, which Andy Wacker just announced the new members of his elite team this last week, as well as the normal results, sub ultra athletes of the month, and what's coming up next.
Yeah, so if you aren't already, be sure to subscribe by clicking the link in our Instagram bio. It's also in the bio of our YouTube channel. And also, if you type in Subhub headlines, honestly, just straight into Google, it'll show up. And you
Yep.
can go and see past newsletters there, read stories of Joyce Nagiru, Helusine, Sarah Alonso, pretty much all the folks in the sub ultra space. So yeah, be sure to subscribe. We appreciate the folks that have been reading it and clicking and engaging with that content.
Yeah, especially ahead of like the beginning of Golden Trail season this month. Get to know some of the athletes that are a part of that, series. It's going to be a bunch of fun this year. So we've like Danny said, we pretty much interviewed like half of Golden Trail, whether it's on the podcast or in the headlines. So check it out.
Yeah. Talking about April Fools, though, let's bring that back. What was your favorite April Fool's joke that you saw, whether on social media or someone like pulled on you in person?
Tommy came home yesterday and he was like, "Did you see that Max King retired?" And I was like, "What?" Like Max King is only like 43 years old. That just doesn't seem like unless he's just done with the sport, like that just doesn't seem like a Max King thing to do. And like as I was going into Instagram to like look it up, I was like, "Oh my God, Tommy, it's April 1st." Because it was like honestly a really funny post. You got to go check it out. And I was reading it, and it was so funny. He said something about like, after not being able to finish Barkley, I basically decided I wasn't good enough for this. And so I think that was my favorite because Max King is gonna probably show up to Broken Arrow and like make another Worlds team at 43. So the idea of him retiring is like hilarious to me.
Yeah, I saw that one too. And immediately it got me too. At first I was like, what? But I just like couldn't believe it. I was like, Max Keen has been racing for like, why would he stop now? There's no reason to stop right now.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, that one got me too. I also liked Mike McGonagall's Leah's husband's. I don't know if you saw his story where he's
I
like,
didn't.
I'm like going off of Instagram. I'm canceling Instagram. You can only follow me on OnlyFans. And so that's where all he's like, for the foreseeable future, all my content will be on OnlyFans. Like, subscribe here.
I love that.
Yeah,
Now
that's
that I'm
pretty.
a dad, I'm only on OnlyFans.
Exactly. Exactly. It was funny though because I kind of endlessly have NPR on in my radio, just like every time I'm in the car. And they'll do like these kind of like editorial exposés and they had a section about I had just coming back from Starbucks. This guy was talking about like how to create the perfect April Fool's joke. And some of the things that I remember is like there can't be like any serious consequences from the joke.
Yeah.
Um, and that like earlier in the day is better because people aren't like they're not
You're not thinking about
aware.
it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the later you wait, like the less likely people are gonna engage, I don't know, like laugh at
Yeah.
it, I guess. But I just thought it was funny. He was like, this is literally scientifically proven of how you create the perfect April Fool's joke.
No, it was funny. We actually had a friend stay the night at our house, and we were like sitting at the breakfast table that morning, and I was like, shit, I didn't think of a single funny thing to do because I never remember that it's April Fool's. And they were like, it's April Fool's? Yeah, nobody never knows until like noon, and
Yeah,
then you're
yeah.
like, oh, they got me.
Yeah.
Instagram got me today.
So good.
But that's I wasn't on Instagram much yesterday because I was bricked for most of the day, and so I feel like I missed a lot of the April Fool's stuff. I just thought it was funny that like Tommy came home and that was the first thing he told me. It was like Max King retired.
I'm really happy you're still slapping that brick. Like after coming
Yeah.
home, I didn't take you with me to teen camp because I knew they were gonna have us like post
Yeah.
stuff and
Same.
everything. And admittedly, like by the time I got home, I was like craving the brick. I was like, I feel overstimulated by this
Yeah.
because I've just have gotten such in the habit of doing that.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I'm glad you're still
Yeah.
slapping brick.
I use it most of the time and then I'll go downstairs to like post pictures of my dogs and that's pretty much it. And I've gotten really good about scheduling posts now. So I'll like go
Mm,
downstairs and I'll unbrick and I'll like schedule my posts and then like just be done with it for like the week basically.
that's
And
cool.
then when we do headline stuff or SubHub days, I'm like on Instagram on the web browser, which is really inconvenient. So
I
yeah.
love it. Wait, so you can schedule and
Yeah.
it'll still happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even if you're bricked. Because I wasn't sure for a while, so I've done it a couple times now, and
Yeah,
it'll still send it through if you're bricked.
that's cool.
Yeah. Would suggest.
That's good to know. I just scheduled a post, a collab reel with UTMB actually,
Oh, sick.
and I wanted to brick the rest of today, so I will do that.
You should be good.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, running. I guess that's what we're good at.
Yeah, we should talk about your camp a little bit, and then we should talk about what you're doing next weekend.
Oh my
But let's
gosh.
start with camp.
Oh dear God. Yeah, let's start with team camp. What do you want
Um,
to know?
What do you want to know? So Danny and I's team camp, I know we already talked about mine a little bit. Mine is like pretty short. It's mostly just running a couple. The first time we did it was like a lot of social media, and so many of us were like, "Hey, we're actually racing canyons in like, 5 weeks. We need to be able to run a little bit more." And so since then, it's changed to be mostly running with like the occasional social media type day. But yours is like 14 days or something like that total. So tell us about Germany and Fuerteventura.
Yeah, is it that long?
I don't know. On my calendar, it was like 14 whole days. It was like Danny's gone.
Yeah, 14. What? No, it's basically 14 days. Yeah, with like travel days. I
Yeah.
think like in person we're there for like 10 to 12 days
Yeah.
because for at least as an American, like getting there takes almost like a day and a half. And then
And then you're
uh
coming back from Fuerteventura, which is even further.
yeah, and then there's the Germany to Fuerteventura. That's like a whole day
Yeah.
situation. Um, yeah, I think what's really cool is this is the second year they've done it where they bring the entire team. And whenever like team camp happens, I'm like, wow, our team is really freaking big. And especially when everyone's like wearing orange at the airport, it takes up like the whole middle section of a plane. But for us, I wouldn't even say it's the first half. It's like 4 days. Last year we did 3 days, and this year they built in a sleep day, which all of us appreciated. So like the day we got there, we didn't have anything. Whereas last year we landed and they're like, "All right, time for headshots," and I'm just like wiping my eyes. Look terrible in my faces. Everyone's face is like inflamed.
Puffy.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, we got a sleep day, and then what's cool is they have this place called the Home Grounds at it's at Adidas campus, which is in Herzog, Germany, middle of nowhere because the founders, it was two brothers of Adidas, that's like where their little house was, like growing up. And one of the brothers peeled off and made Puma, and that's also where Puma's headquarters is. So it's literally in the middle of nowhere, Germany, no mountains for hours. But anyways, they have this place called the Home Grounds that they made for like situations like this. I think it originally was made for the German soccer team or football team, because that was like, their main team for years. And it's like a five-star hotel on campus. It's so freaking nice. And we each get our own rooms, and they're kind of like eco-friendly made. There's like basically like farm to table food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like the food there, I wish I could just have all the time. And it's like the entire rainbow. Um, but the days on campus is like all of the testing. So VO2 testing, sweat testing, heat chamber testing, form testing. This time I did this thing called like It's like an ISO machine. There's a special name for it, but like this is actually a really funny story. So I got to do it because coming off of injury, I want to know like how much power all of my like different parts of my legs are putting out and making sure they're as even as possible. And so I go in there and I'm like, wow, this looks like an electric chair. And these two guys like are like, okay, don't worry, it's super safe. So first off, here's like these levers that, you know, if you start to get feel stuck, and I'm like, wait, what? Can this machine like break my leg off? Like it wasn't even in my mind. I wasn't scared at all. And then they started really like scaring me. And they're like, and then we'll push this big red button. So just know, like, let's make sure you can reach it. And I could like barely reach it. They like it straps your whole body down so hard. So you literally can only move the part of your body you're testing. And you could, they have like all these different components where you can like test your wrists and your shoulder and like you could test your neck and like all these movements. And basically you put like all out energy output 3 times. And like the VO2 test, like they'll cheer you on. And there's a really good video of Cody Lind in the new like New Faces Perspectives YouTube video. Like his body is frothed, like pushing as hard as he can. He looks like the freaking Hulk. But yeah, it was that was a really cool freaking machine. That was a they just got it like in this last year, and so they're testing all the athletes and stuff because there's they're starting to see, I need to ask them directly, but some correlation between like push off. Like they first started to know it with their marathoners, like if the power of your feet versus like you pulling your feet up, if like there's
Okay.
some ratio
Just like
where
how much power you put into the ground.
exactly. Yeah. Which makes sense. It's like
Yeah.
it's not how much you can lift, it's power per the size of your body.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but it's just like more scientific. That was
Yeah.
freaking cool.
I wonder if that's like also why, because we can talk about this bit in a little bit, but Francesco stayed with us for a bit and he and Tommy were talking about strength training. And I know the BYU team does this as well, like all of those exercises where they're max pushing into the ground, but they're not actually lifting anything. Like they're pushing against like an inanimate object almost. I
Oh,
wonder if it's like the
interesting.
same idea of just like how much power you can put into the ground without actually having to like lift.
Oh, it, like an isolation,
Yeah.
like yep.
Yeah.
That's interesting because that is what I had to do coming back from my injury. Like
Yeah, a
it's
lot
like a
of
physio exercise, but like to apply that all the time. I mean, that makes sense.
yeah.
Huh.
Question about testing, because last year I remember you were saying that the people who did like heat chamber testing were the people that were running Western States. Was that different this year? Did everybody do it, or was it just like a few handful?
Yeah, it was Western States and then also some folks testing new apparel for us.
Oh,
So,
okay.
because they didn't want to put the Western States people just like in the heat chamber all of the time.
Yeah.
So, from what I could kind of gather, they picked individuals who live in hot places and they're like, "Hey, can you jump in here and like tell us if the top like starts to scrunch up on you or like if it's sticky or like how quickly is it drying off?" So that's pretty cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very forward thinking because some of the testing we were doing is like next year, 2 years, 3 years out. Um, and one of the things that was really cool that myself and I think it was like 6 of us in total is we're testing shoes for 26, I think. And we had to run on a treadmill flat, uphill, and downhill like 3 different times, trying 3 different prototypes, not
Okay.
knowing like what the difference was between all of them. And after each one, we'd go and like tell them the scores and stuff like that. And then yeah, we like have some prototypes to try out and stuff. But have you ever run downhill on a treadmill?
Yeah, my treadmill does downhill, but it won't let you run faster than like 8-minute pace. So I'm sure
That's
that
smart.
Adidas has like a treadmill that you can run faster than 8-minute pace.
I I was with Tony and Petter and they both have already done that and it was my first time and I felt like a freaking baby. It
Like you
was
felt like you were gonna fly off the back, but in like the weirdest way
yeah,
possible.
I almost felt like I was gonna trip going
Yeah,
forward
yeah,
because I felt like the pickup of the legs like was being done for you in a weird
yeah.
way.
It's
And
weird.
like the pace that I was running, normally if I was running on a road, my arms would be tucked in. but I was
Hmm.
like so scared of falling off. I was like, my arms are out to the side, but I was only running like 7 minute pace or
Yeah.
something where I'm like, okay, if I was outside, I would not be like looking like I'm
No.
going down a deck full of. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that was cool. We just like saw a lot of campus and everything. And to
Yeah.
your point with the media, like we did a lot of freaking media stuff that first half. And then the second half, it's more of like self-elected. So the media team will be like, "Hey, we're gonna meet here at blah 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 time. If you want to come, like we'll get
Yeah.
some photos and videos of you. Hey, if you want individual shots, like DM us and we'll go." So like you don't feel like you have to do it, which is nice, and you just fit it into your schedule, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I talked about this on the last episode, but I just had like one day where I was required to do like a full production day, which I
Yeah.
did last year as well, and I way prefer that to like yeah, every day being like, all right, we're gonna do like 30 minutes of shooting and then you guys can go on your run. Because then by the time you like start running, you're starving. Like you think you've eaten enough food and you just have not.
Oh,
So
totally.
yeah, I'd way
Yeah.
rather it be set up in a way that you can like
Kind of pick what
mostly
you
do your
want.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And when we're at, admittedly, like when we're at campus, the training kind of goes to shit anyways, because we're
Yeah.
so freaking busy. But
And
it's like,
tired.
and tired. And it's honestly, it's only 3 days. So it's like, it's not gonna be the
Yeah.
end of the world. Like people still could get out for runs and stuff, and there's a gym that we could use, but like you're there to kind of, it's like a work trip sort of
Yep.
thing. Yeah.
Yep. That's what I always call camp, and I feel so spoiled because I'm like, I'm going to Italy, but it's just a work trip. And
It should be.
my friends are like, what? That's such bullshit. And I'm like, no, for real though. Like
Yeah, yeah.
you spend
Well,
most of the day like running or like going to the run, and then you get back and you're just like, I'm tired now because we ran
yeah.
for 3 hours or whatever. Like,
No, I totally get that for sure. Yeah, that's where that food came in handy. Fuerte was interesting this year though, because like last year I was running full time, sometimes 2 times a day. And this year I was like half in the gym, half running, and then I got to use the pool.
that's
But
nice.
yeah, it was nice like being out in the sun and stuff. So that like from a mental standpoint was something I like really prepared for. It was like a little difficult at first, but like as time went on, I was like, you know what, this is just where you're at. Just like embrace it. And also I kind of took I like it felt good because I'm like, you know what? Even though I'm not running full time, like I'm still working really hard. Like
Yeah.
without doing life stuff like I am in Mammoth where I'm kind of just like always on the go, just having training and recovering. I was like, holy crap, I'm actually putting a lot of time into this, even though it's not just like straight running. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you guys are similar in the fact that you guys also have a physio that you can use like every day,
Oh my
which when you're
gosh.
back home, like maybe you go once a week. If you're me, you probably go every 3 weeks or something. And like having a physio every day, so then like doing your run, coming back and like actually taking care of yourself, like that was when my injuries started to kind of like take a turn, even though I felt like I wasn't running that much or like was kind of feeling shitty still there. I got back and I was like, wow. Like I can run without limping. This is pretty cool. It's probably because I had a physio every day.
It's seriously game changing. Like
Yeah.
I came out of camp healthier than I went in. Like
Yeah,
my post
same.
tip, I don't know if I told you, but my post tip was like starting to act up in weird ways. And like
Classic foot injury stuff.
yeah, just like, and I'm like, it's just working itself out. But like seeing the physio 8 times over 10 days, I like came back and I'm like, I think I'm 100%. Like, this is sick.
Yeah, it's awesome. It'd be nice if like every time you got injured, you could like
I
have the
know,
time and also the money to just be like, all right, we're hitting it hard for 10 straight days.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that sounds so expensive.
That sounds so expensive.
Like $1,000.
Yeah. But that's good to hear that you came out of camp more healthy because I feel like there's always this like trap too that you could fall into right where you are at camp and you're like, ah, but everybody else is doing like this, so maybe I should also do that because I don't want to be left out. And then you leave not healthy. So I'm glad that you were able to like still you it seems like you still did plenty of running with the team, but also being able to like kind of let go of days when you needed to just do things on your own.
100%. And like if ever they had people shooting, so there was like times you could meet with the team. We had a schedule that the athletes contributed to, and we were like, okay, every day at 9 a.m. Outside of workout days, like if you want a recovery run with some people, like go here, meet here, and like same thing at like 4 p.m. on some of the days. And I'm in none of those photos because I never went on a recovery run. Like
Yeah.
my recovery days were cross training, and like one of the days we did uphill workout, and then well the first half was uphill, the second half was flat, and it was my first set of uphill efforts. And, talking with my coach, it was kind of like, please, 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 like, don't push hard. And so, like, going in being like, Dani, the goal of today is like, it's not to run sloppy and fast. It's to run like slow, not or controlled and efficient. And we had the option to do, I think it was like 4 to 6. And I got to 4 and I was feeling really good. And I just thought to myself, I'm like, this is good. Like, let's just stop here. Like, I know you want to keep going, but let's just hit the flat, knowing that like we could have done more. And so just like using that part of my brain all throughout camp of being like, this is the right call, Dani, it starts to become so much easier. And that's what I mean
Yeah.
by like feeling empowered and being like, this is where you're at and that's okay. Um, but uh, I mean, college Dani for sure would have done 6 to 8 and then hit the flat, even if I
Yeah.
had just gotten out of the pool like the day before. So. I've come a long way for sure.
Yes. So grown up.
So grown up. Yeah.
No, I feel like I'm not in any team camp pictures either. Like except for the ones where we're like hanging out at the house. If there's a run involved, I'm not in them because I like could not run that course with the way my body was feeling.
Yeah. Did you guys run the actual course that they end up running on race day?
Yeah, they ran the whole course like over the 5 days that we were there. And I tried to run half of the first day, and it was just so that course is so punchy. Like the climbs are really short, really steep, up and down. And like that was the kind of running that I really could not do for like a month there. And so Tommy and I like started the run that first day, and immediately I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to walk the 6 miles back to the
Oh.
finish. And so I didn't run with the team the rest of the week because I was like, the whole course is like this. I'm not gonna be able to survive.
Well, it's crazy because talking to Abby Hall and Francesco, so Abby ran
Yeah,
the
120.
130K, 120K. Francesco ran the marathon. Both of them said that course made no sense at all. Like you would be on this beautiful trail. I mean, the weather they got on that day was horrendous, so
Yeah,
it would have been hard regardless. But then you would just like peel into some trees for like
yeah,
K's, and then you'd like come back out and they're like, "Why? Wait, isn't that the trail we were just on? Why didn't we
yep.
just run straight?"
Yeah, it was like you'd be on this beautiful because I think that the old course was like mostly on like gravel roads. And then they were like, nah, that's not hard enough. So they literally you'll be on this like awesome gravel road and you're like overlooking vineyards. And then yeah, you just like pop down into this like really rocky, rooty tree section, and it's like there's blackberry bushes. I remember like my teammates came back with like scratches on their faces and stuff, and I was like, looks brutal out there. And we had like beautiful sunny weather the whole time we were there. That mud looked awful.
Yeah, it looked actually absolutely awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, last year it looked like a whole different story. Like you
Yeah.
said, just like rolling. You're basically like doing a road race or like a cross
Yeah.
country race. But yeah, multiple people were like, that was the worst ever.
I remember because Jacob Banta, Helen Mino Faulkner's boyfriend, asked me if I had to get another golden ticket, like where would I do it? Because I was just talking about Black Canyon, and I was like, oh, well, I would probably go to Terraware or Chianti because they're both like runnable races, which is why I like Black Canyon, right? Like it's very runnable. Same with canyons. And I texted the group like that first day when I ended up walking at camp. I was like, Chianti's out. Chianti is so out.
Yeah, I mean, after, because Abby was an incredible teammate and she finished that race and then she flew to hang out with us in
Yeah.
Fuerte. And just hearing her recount, I was like, cross that off the list. That was not for me. Because the first year, I
Terraware
think
is
I
still on the
saw
list.
photos of like Nuria Gil and like Robbie Simpson. I was like, I might do that before team camp one year. Like that looks
Yeah, why
sick.
not?
Not I'm just like, nah.
No,
JK.
yeah. No, it's out for me. But Tarawera still in.
Yeah,
That looks like a fun race. So
it looks
the
super fun.
50K or the 100K.
Yeah, they both look super sick. Oh
We
man.
got totally sidetracked there, but
Oh yeah, just like team camp. It was sick.
yeah, it was sick. Hey guys, MK here. This episode is brought to you by Never Second. 2025 is the year of Never Second. If you've been following along on Instagram, you may have noticed that Never Second will be on course for some of your favorite races. So make sure to go check out their website and use our code so that you can start practicing ahead of time. As I get ready to start off my 2025 season, C30 drink mix has been my absolute go-to. When I'm training in the cold and getting ready to race somewhere hot, practicing with liquid calories is the easiest way for me to get in all my carbs. Try using Never Second C30 drink mix to make any combination of carbohydrate per hour for yourself. Right now, I'm using 75 grams of carbs per bottle. If you want to try Never Second ahead of your next race, just head to neversecond.com. That's NEVER number 2.com and use code SUBHUB25 for a 25% discount on all your orders. Okay, so what's something people don't see on social media about Team Camp? Like anything funny or unexpected that happened to you while you were there?
Oh man, I think what people, I feel like it is shown on social media, but my absolute favorite part of teen camp is just like hanging out with friends, like some of whom I would say like are best friends, and like outside of a race setting, because all the rest of the year we're like meeting right before the race, and people get nervous. Some people are super talkative, some people kind of like are super introverted or like, just have your pre-race things. And so yeah, I think that's really cool. Uh, our team manager, our managers like do really cool, what are they called? Like kind of like these grounding activities where we like so for example we had this activity called like the resilience wall or like the resistant no resilience wall where we like got into groups and we shared challenges that we were having like whether in sport or outside of sport and we got to like talk because we were in smaller groups like if we'd had that experience before and if not like trying to help the person know that they have support and so then you would like write on these sticky notes like if I get nervous before a race, this is what I do. And so then, like, each paper got filled with sticky notes, and then all of that got collected and built into like this holistic kind of like playbook for us.
Cool.
Yeah. And so we do stuff like that too, like mental training, I would say. So I think, yeah, that's stuff that people don't see, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting because you guys have such a big team, and prior to this year, we've had a pretty small team at Craft, and we added like a decent amount of people. And I feel like, those of us who have been on the team for a while, like immediately, like, we hang out with each other, we start talking to each other, we run together, whatever. But then at like dinner time, there was like this very like because we have a Swedish group, a Spanish speaking group, and an American group. And we were very much like clicking up at the beginning of camp because it was just easier that way. And it was interesting to see that because in the past, like it's been such a small team that like we didn't, there were no clicks because there were like two of each of us or whatever. But the last night of camp we were all like kind of hanging out at the like in the dinner area for like a while, and it was like there was this group of us at a table, and then the Swedes realized that like they wanted to come hang out with us, and then like that group came over to this table, and then everybody else came over to this table, and we stayed up until like 11:30 or something, like just as a more collective bigger group just hanging out before we had to leave the next day. And I thought that was really cool because it's hard to like I guess get out of those clicks once you like create them, but it was cool that we got to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say Terex is really good about mixing it up for some reason.
You have
Um,
to when you have a team that big because people are just
yeah.
going to hang out with the people they already know.
Yeah, I think like the first couple days, if you're besties with someone, you're like catching up. So
Yeah.
like the first day I like sat with Tony and like we caught up over a bunch of stuff or like Kimmy or Caitlin or whatever. But then like after that, it's kind of like one day I was just sitting with like all the Spanish and French people. And then the next day I was sitting with the South Africans. And it's like, but I'm not the only one doing that. Like everyone's
Yeah.
kind of jumbling up, which is pretty cool. Um, and yeah, I think it's good to have people that are like curious and stuff. But language, I mean, if you're being honest, like it can be a barrier at
Yeah.
times. We played fishbowl
Oh
and
my gosh, I love fishbowl.
but like with
Okay.
like 40 people
That's
and
crazy.
yeah, and it was pretty legendary, honestly,
Yeah.
because I helped create the words and I like was trying to think of words that everyone would know.
Yep.
But even so, like it was pretty funny like how people would describe things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've learned with fishbowl actually, funny point about this language conversation. Our friend Josephine, we play fishbowl all the time at our house. And our friend Josephine is Swedish and she like has lived in the US for I think like 7 or 8 years now. But she is so freaking good at charades because she's always like, well, when you don't speak, like when English isn't your first language, you get really good at figuring out how to describe things without
Oh.
knowing, exactly what you want to say or do. And she freaking crushes it every time. So I bet that that game was so fun.
Yeah, that I've never made that correlation. That totally makes sense. Because
Yeah.
even if like you're like trying to speak English and someone doesn't know English,
Hmm.
you're like, I need this, I need
Yeah, you're like
water.
using your hands and
No bubbles, no bubbles.
that's so fun. I love fishbowl. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, highly recommend with the team. Bonding.
Oh man, that does sound chaotic though with 40 people. How many categories did you have to do to get people to all participate?
I mean we did all three. Like I think it's like you describe it, then you act it out, and then one word.
Yeah.
But I think I ended up putting like 50 words in there. And we had
Okay.
two big teams. Maybe it's not 40, maybe it's like 30 people. But
Still.
yeah. But that's the thing about Terex too, is everyone's so game. Like people
Yeah.
love playing games. Like ever since I first entered the team, like if me or someone else was like, hey, you guys want to try this? Like last year we got really into I mean, I learned this at UCSB, but you know the drive game?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
everyone loved it. And even this year they're like, "Can we play drive?" You know, and I'm like, I learned that when I was like 21 and drunk,
I
right?
was gonna say, yeah, the only time I've ever played Drive is as a part of King's Cup, I'm pretty sure, right?
But it's great for a group size
Yeah.
and it's so straightforward.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then like we did some puzzles that Emily Hoggood brought. So yeah, it's a good time.
That's awesome. Well, she's back from team camp. You're still not like done though. You went like I went to team camp and then you were in Santa Barbara and then you went to team camp for 2 weeks. You're home for like basically a week. And then next weekend, Danny's running her first race since breaking her foot at OCC back in August.
That's so weird you saying that right now.
So tell us about it. Where are you going? What are you doing?
Yeah,
I
I
can't believe
am.
it's already next weekend either.
I know. Well, I was really nervous coming back from teen camp and if I was going to feel jet lagged, but body clicked right back in, which I'm sure you've
Love it.
experienced the same thing. Like when you come back home,
It's
it's a
usually
lot
easier.
easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I slept like 11 hours the first day and then I was kind of good to go, which was sick. Um, and yeah, I'm racing Lake Sonoma Marathon next weekend. I I'm more excited now. I think like if you'd asked me this a week ago, I'm like, why am I doing this? Like that seems so far for the body right now. But I've just been like chipping away, starting to add some like long runs in and stuff like that. And like, as you know, like you don't have to run the distance that you're about to
No,
race.
especially when
Um,
you've been doing it for as long as we have.
yeah. And so, yeah, and at first I think I was kind of copping out as like a defense mechanism and being like, I'm not gonna go that hard the first hour and then I'll just like, finish strong. And now I'm like, no, that's gonna do me no good. Like if I'm gonna race, I need to race and
Yeah.
like see where the body's at. And it's better to like go out and like hit a wall than finish. I don't know. Maybe
No,
that's,
I agree. I think it's
yeah,
way better to see, like, if you actually want to know where you're at, it's better
yeah.
to go out like you would in a normal race. And if you die a little bit at the end, c'est la
Then
vie,
say la
but
vie.
you know where
Better to
you're
know
at.
that. Yeah,
Yeah. If you go out
100%.
easy and then finish hard, you'll be like, wow, I'm so ready.
Yeah, and then I'll go to Broken Arrow and get dropped in the first 10K. So, no, it's seriously, I was trying to think. of Broken Arrow because like
Yeah.
the cast there is American All-Star cast basically.
And it will
Um,
go out hard. It
and
always
it's
does.
gonna go out hard.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm doing myself a disservice. Two very different races, but just like the mentality of being like, this is this is how we race. Like you
Yeah.
got to get out. And then it's also pretty cool because it's a Terex team event, and the 50 miler is like shaping up. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
seen the elite, like Tara Dower's doing it now.
I've been
Um,
seeing some posts the last couple days.
yeah, it's definitely heating up because this year, folks, Lake Sonoma has prize money. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's ever had prize money before.
I don't think it did last year. It may have back when it was like a golden ticket race, but historically, golden ticket races pay nothing. So I would be surprised if they did have prize money. It's so cool because we talked about this with Poopy. Like the 50-mile distance is a distance that we need more of because
Yes.
it's so cool. And going from 50K to 100K is so like insanely unreasonable.
Yeah,
I
just
just,
time-wise, yeah, for
yeah, I
sure.
mean, it's double the distance. And so to like have more like 80K 50-mile type efforts would be awesome. And Lake Sonoma obviously used to be a really big race, but has fallen off since the golden ticket was taken away. So the fact that they're adding prize money, maybe it'll become more of a consistently like competitive event because it's such a cool event.
Yeah. I mean, it's like it's nothing like too crazy, but it's for the 50 mile, it's 1,000, it's 1250, 750 for second, 500 for third,
I
which
mean, you're
like
still covering like race entry plus like, gas for most people, like
yeah,
with third place even.
yeah, totally. But yeah, I'm really excited. I think it's a course that like will suit me just coming
Yeah.
back to. I've heard it's more punchy than canyons, so not to
Yeah.
think of it as canyons, which I think is good because I really need to work on my uphill right now. Like
Yeah.
me and MK talked about this yesterday, just like catching up, but like flat speed is coming back real quick, which is nice. But the uphill power is still like developing. But yeah, no, I'm really excited. Mike's gonna be there, my aunt and uncle are gonna be there, and then I've been a part of this really cool women's initiative from Terex. So I'm coaching three women, two who are running the marathon, one who's running the half marathon. And then I created a training plan for women for Adidas Runners LA. I think there's like six or seven of them. And Adidas is paying for their entries, accommodations, travel, fully outfitting them, like
That's sick.
head to toe drip. So it's pretty sick, like literally to get women on the start line.
Yeah.
It's
Which
really
we
cool.
all know we need more of. And it's cool that they're based out of LA too, since you're like
Yeah.
an LA athlete, LA alumni.
Yeah, no, LA alumni. Well, it's funny because I've been bothering them for like the last year. I'm like, hey, if you ever have something with LA, like, please think of me, think of me.
Yeah.
And so when this came up, they're like, Danny, it's here.
You're like, thank God.
Yeah,
We need more. I mean, because like LA's got some good trail running. You kind of have to like drive kind of far, but I feel like people kind of underestimate it as a place to train. So
yeah. I mean, it's hilly. Griffith Park is great, and then the Los Angeles mountains are
they're
incredible.
so steep.
You have to drive there,
Yeah.
which is the hard part. And it's very like there's a lot of pumicy stuff like sand and everything. And if you know where to go, like there's a lot of people, which is great. It means people from the city are getting outside. But if you kind of like want to meander off on your own, like you can get to like these higher parts, which is
I
pretty
think I
cool.
did Mount Williamson, maybe that's the name. I could be getting it wrong, but
Wilson?
Wilson, Mount Wilson, when I was there for like a recruiting trip, back when I was coaching. And because it was so steep, I think I literally saw three people, and it was like a Saturday. I
What?
mean, and the trail was so nice. It was like double wide basically, and oh, so good. I
Wait,
do love the LA Mountains.
when you did it, did you see my Strava crowns?
I don't know.
We should check that
We
because that
should.
would be really funny if you like if
Yeah,
we
because I
ran the
wouldn't have
same
known who
trail.
you were at that
Yeah.
point. This was like 2018 or 2019, maybe, or no, probably 2019 or 2020. Yeah. So I was not
Dang.
really into the trails world yet.
Well, it's sad because that area is pretty much all burned now.
I know that is a bummer.
Oh, here we go. Wait, I ran it in 2018 too.
I think mine would have been 2020.
Okay, wait, let's check this real time, folks. Because I got like all the CRs. little Danny was fast, man. 2018, I was already throwing up sub 7 gaps. Let's go.
Let's go.
Um,
I gotta
up
remember even when that was. I was
let's
there for some track meet that was happening at Azusa. I think it was like in June.
somehow, because there's multiple ways up. Yeah, you didn't go up this way. You're not even in the top 25, and you would
Maybe
be.
it's not Wilson. It's one of those mountains over there by Wilson. I
Okay.
truly have no idea, but
Yeah.
was it was such a cool trail.
Yeah, this one is really cool. It made me think of this because this is like double wide and just straightforward.
Yeah.
Interesting. Hi, all. Danny here. Coming out of the holidays, many of us are diving into that winter grind, logging big miles and putting in the work. But with heavy training comes the risk of a suppressed immune system, and no one wants to get sidelined. That's why I've made immune health a priority in my routine, and Beekeepers Naturals has been a big game changer for me. When I'm consistent with checking those boxes, supporting my immune system, feeling right, and recovering well, I feel so much better and more confident heading into big races I've trained long and hard for. Beekeepers Naturals helps me stay on track with their clean, effective products that are free of harmful chemicals and artificial ingredients. Their hero ingredient, propolis, is nature's defender of the hive, packed with antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals. My personal favorite is their throat spray. It's a simple, everyday boost. And they also offer lozenges, syrups, and have a bunch of great options for kids, making it easy to find what works best for you. So if you're looking to support your immune system this season, check out Beekeepers Naturals. Head to beekeepersnaturals.com and use the code SUBHUB20 for 20% off your order. Now back to the episode. But yeah, excited for my race. That'll be sick.
Good. I'm stoked for you. I that's like a race that I would love, love, love to do at some point, but I'm afraid to do it because of the poison oak. So make
Yeah,
sure you bring your Technu because there is tons of poison oak out there.
that's a good reminder because I have one of those like poison oak drips I think I've told you
Oh
about where
yeah.
like you kind of like dose yourself. And it is kind of nice because um, Jen Lichter ran this race the year she came back from her injury. Um, and
The
then
marathon.
yeah, and then later that year got fourth at Worlds.
Yeah.
And like, you never want to get caught in the comparison game, but like, if I'm within like 5, 10 minutes of her, I'm like, I'm gonna be pretty
Feeling
stoked.
pretty good about it.
Yeah, because her fourth at Worlds was freaking sick. And it's like a
Yes.
similar time to Broken Arrow. So thank you, Jen, for running that coming off of your injury.
Thank you for
Um,
the confidence.
yeah, yeah, we definitely are like she was at a different point at this time than I was, but we're different people, so we'll see.
Yeah. So Lake Sonoma, is there going to be a live stream?
Yes,
Oh, that's sick.
yeah, I forgot to plug that in. Mountain Outpost is live streaming it, which is crazy. I mean, it's sick for sure, but there's also a gorge going on the
Oh
same
yeah.
weekend. So I
This
just
month is
assumed they
low
were
key
gonna.
crazy.
It's low key, high key
Yeah.
crazy.
Wait, so who's doing Gorge then? Also
I
Mountain Outpost?
I
Who's
don't think they have a live stream.
what?
Yeah, and Canyons doesn't have a live stream.
Because it's not a major, so like nobody cares, which is crazy, but it's a golden ticket race.
Yeah, but
What?
they just live streamed Tenerife, you know, and
So
that's
weird.
not a major or
I
anything.
mean, I will say that live streaming at Canyons is pretty much useless because
It's hard.
um the service is just so bad. It's like a waste of money, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. I know that because I messaged GTMB. I'm like, do you need any commentators? I kind of know the
Yeah.
50K. And they're
And
like,
they're like,
we don't have any commentators. So I was like, oh, okay.
well, never mind then. Yeah, no, that is really interesting, but I wonder if it's because it's just not like the service is so bad.
Yeah, but like they got it done last year. It wasn't perfect, but they did get it done. And it's a golden, like the 100K has the golden ticket, and the 50K, as we know, is
This
freaking.
is so competitive
Are
this
we
year.
gonna do? We're gonna do an
We're
episode
gonna do
three.
an episode, yeah.
Okay. I don't want. That'll be a whole nother side rant
Yeah.
because I'm frothed to watch that 50K.
Yeah, I don't know if we've updated people on that, but Dani is not running the 50K canyons
Yeah, or the 100K. I was never running
or
the
the
50K.
100K.
Yeah.
Oh, for some reason I thought you had at some point moved down to the 50K.
No, we interviewed Jen Lichter and she gave me a hard time because I convinced her to do the
Right.
50. Which, Jen, I still believe you could get the course record. I just won't be there.
Yeah. I mean, it's still competitive enough that she's got people to push her. It's
It's so competitive. I mean, that's the best way to get a course record is like just freaking
just
race. Like
yeah,
shut
have
your
other
brain
people there
off.
with you
Yeah.
because it's hard to push the whole time by yourself.
Yeah. And when you're paying attention to splits, it's like some years you're a stronger climber, some years you're a stronger runner, and some years you're a better downhiller. So it's like you can't compare yourself to the previous year. It's just like get it done.
Yeah. All
Do you
right.
agree with that?
I do. No, I
Okay.
do.
I
Yeah,
saw you
because
thinking.
I feel like the year of Worlds, I like that was like one of my strongest climbing years. And since then, because I've been focusing on like these like golden ticket type races, I've gone back to becoming a better runner and like maybe it's just in my head, but I feel like I'm less good of a climber just because I'm not focusing on it as much.
Yeah.
But like if I went back and trained for something like that, like OCC, for example, like I could get my climbing legs back underneath me. But it does depend on the year and kind of what you're focusing on.
Yeah.
I mean, because
Yeah.
we're always going to be, we talked about this a little bit, but we're always going to be fast because that's what our background is in. But the climbing like kind of comes and goes depending on how much work you're putting into it. For somebody like me and maybe also yourself who didn't trail run as a high schooler, so
No, I would totally agree with that. Just
yeah.
like thinking of my three OCC experiences. The funny thing though is last year I was the most nervous I'd ever been about downhill. And I think I just like immediately got too heady. I'm like, Judith Weeder and Clemente Giaffre, like
Two of the best
I have no
downhillers in the
chance.
world.
Meow,
Yeah.
yeah. Caitlin Fielder, Sarah Alonso. And then my downhills were all like the same, if not better than
Yeah.
everyone else. And it actually was my climbing that was like not firing in the middle section. And so, yes, it's also sometimes just like what the day gives you too.
Yeah. I can relate to that for sure. I
Yeah.
feel like my world champs was like that, where I was like, the climbing's going to be where I get people and the flat part and on the downhills, I'm just going to have to survive. But that's where I ended up passing like most people
Yeah.
was on the
Yeah. Your
downhills.
last downhill.
Yeah. And then at Canyons 100K last year, like my climbing legs were just not there. They were like, no, thank you. We don't want to go up hills. But every downhill, I was like, it's cruising. That was where I think I made up the most time. Like on the women behind me was like on any downhill. I was just like, can't run uphill, might as well hammer the downhill.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's like as I'm signed up for CCC, like I've never made splits really for
Yeah,
a course. And it's like stuff like hearing it from you and then also talking to people, that has to be so freaking hard. Because what if you're like fudge, like my climbing's just not firing today.
just
And
gotta adjust and eat plenty of food for the downhills.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're running so much faster.
Yeah,
So yeah. No, I agree with that.
it's pretty crazy.
Speaking of which, I don't know if this segue is natural actually.
We'll try
How
it.
how are you
How am I doing?
Yeah, Boston is coming up. Are you
I am not doing Boston. I did pull out of Boston just because I don't know. I mean, I'm sure anybody who's on Strava can tell that my training has not been maybe ideal since Black Canyon. I mean, I've talked about this already, but like going into the race with an injury meant that I came out of the race with a different injury. So the first like month coming back was just like a lot of running and pain. Just trying to move. Like I was honestly moving at like 10:30 pace on flat because I was like, this is how fast I can run without limping. But I need like, with most injuries, like not moving is worse than moving. So I was like trying to do some really slow running and some biking. But yeah, so the month of March was much better. I like started out at camp, which was, as I've already said, kind of a bummer because I like didn't get to run with the team. But then I came back and I felt better and was like not limping all of a sudden. And then I like did a week of like alternating, like doing like a 60-minute run and then a 60-minute bike and a 60-minute run. And then Rick was like, if you have no pain in the afternoons, like, run the next day, don't bike. And So I did that for a little bit. And then yeah, I've finally gotten up to a point where I can run like 55 miles and I'm not in pain and I can run vert, which is really nice. Like a big problem that I was having in the lead up to Black Canyon is I would do something that had any amount of vert in it and the next like really that evening and the next day I like wouldn't be able to walk because my Achilles was so tight. But like last week I ran up Peavine, which is our local one of our local mountains. And it's like 3.5 miles with 2,700 feet of vert. So it's like pretty steep. And haven't done anything like that basically since like Thailand when I was in Thailand in December. And the next morning, like my Achilles wasn't swollen, it didn't hurt. I was able to do a group run and like keep up. And I was like, wow, okay. We finally made it over the precipice. But I mean, I haven't done a single workout, so Boston was like pretty much out of the picture. But fortunately, my time does still work for next year, so the hope would be able to do the pro field next year as long as I'm healthy, which I think I should be now that I know how to manage my Achilles a little bit better.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Like you should have that spot. The Peavine climb, that's the one you do as like a test every now and then.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like if I have like a fun, good day out on Peavine, like I'm probably feeling pretty good about things. And
Yeah.
it's funny because I texted Rick while I was doing it. I was like, well, I'm not moving very fast, but I'm moving, like I'm getting up the hill. And my CR up Peavine is like 50 minutes. And it only took me 62, and I was like keeping it pretty easy. So I was like, okay, I'm actually not that slow. Like
Yeah.
I
Do
just it
you do you
feels
have
slow.
like is that a Strava thing?
Yeah, it's a Strava segment.
Who's like are you the top
Yeah,
woman?
I'm
Yeah.
the top woman. There is a Darren Thomas local crusher has started a race. It's in October called the Peavine Hill. I think it's called the Peavine Hill Climb, and he does offer money to anyone who can take mine or his CR.
Oh,
Just so you guys know for October.
cool. That's kind of like that hill climb in Missoula.
hmm
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, I actually got the CR. We used to do these things for a couple summers called Friday night races, where we would all like kind of come together, this group of people, and if you already had like a time on the segment that we were racing, then like you were good to go. But if you didn't, you needed to set one like prior to the race. And then you would show up to the race and you would start based on your time on the segment. And so, like slowest people would start first, fastest people last. And so I got the CR. Like I think I may have already been second or first all time, but I got the CR that day because I was just trying to like catch the men that I knew were in front of me before I got to the top because I knew if I didn't get them before the top, there was no way I was beating them back down. And I remember it was a Friday at like probably 5 or 6 p.m. in July, and it was like 98 degrees. It was so
Mm.
hot. That was like full VK effort. Like I thought I was gonna black out because it was so hot, but I had so much fun. And unfortunately, I did not win because Tommy did not have a fast segment on it. Like I think the fastest he'd ever run up it was like 64 minutes with me or
Oh, so
something.
he got
So
put
he
way
got to
ahead.
start last, or sorry, first, and like beat all of us by like 30 minutes. Yeah,
That is so funny. I
but
love that.
that's Peavine Hill Climb, October.
I like when local areas do that. We have the Tungsten Cup, which is like in the
Yeah.
winter, and it's the same thing. It's like slowest to fastest. And you just win this I think it's like made out of aluminum foil. And then if you win it, you have to add to it, and it's basically a piece of trash.
I love that.
Yeah,
I like prizes where you either have to keep it and bring it back or you have to add to it. We were thinking about doing that for like our Halloween party
you should
because we
do
like
that.
made these little prizes and I feel like people need to bring them back so that we can keep adding to them and making them more and more Halloweeny.
You should. That's super cool.
Oh man. But yeah, that's my update, I guess. So I'm not doing Boston, so I'm just trying to like build mileage up at the moment and see where it takes me.
Chipping away.
Chipping away, maybe still doing Twisted Fork in Park City, beginning of
Which one?
June.
Which distance?
I'd do the 26K if I make it out there, but it is like pretty close to like the Broken Arrow Western States weekend, so I'm still kind of up in the air about it, but um yeah. That's, I guess, the next race on my calendar, though.
Oh,
Um,
30K.
yeah,
Yeah, I wish it just wasn't. Is it the weekend before Broken Arrow?
yeah. So it
Man,
doesn't work for most people, but I'm only
yeah.
doing the VK at Broken Arrow, so it could be like a good tune-up for, states or
Oh,
something.
totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you hear us, Finn, a 15K with 1,200 feet is pretty rough the week before Broken Arrow. Because I was like trying to think if I could fit that in too, because I want to support them, but I'm like, that's just still a barn burner. Still,
It's too fast, yeah, for
it's too
sure.
fast. 10 miles before, like the week before,
Yeah. No,
like
you should be
all
having your
in.
feet up.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I go get taken to the grave by the women in that race
It's
in a
gonna be
good way.
awesome.
It's gonna be so
Yeah.
sick. What else? Do we have anything else?
I don't know. I
But
mean,
I just wanted to call out some of these results really quick,
okay.
um, that we have. Just some things that caught my eye. So, as you guys may know, it's been kicking off, popping off like crazy. I swear, like there's so many freaking races now.
Yeah, it feels
Um,
like there's too many races almost. This
because
used to be kind of a dry season, but not anymore.
not anymore. And UTMB is like adding more. A couple of results that caught my eye. Hannah Allgood got second overall at the Marin Ultra 50K, and she ran sub 4, which was a new women's course record.
When was
Um,
that? Before camp?
Before camp, yeah, it
Okay.
was March 8th. And those are like the trails are very similar to like Big Alta,
Yeah.
like short,
Punchy.
steep, runnable, but I still thought that was like a really freaking good time. Just her like cranking it out by herself. Um, and then I have it right here. Acantilados del Norte. The Battle of Marta, Denisa, and Oyana was really cool to like watch unfold. Marta Martinez kind of had like a breakout year last year. She also
Yeah.
was third at Zagama after she ran this race. And so I'm curious if she's going to do Zagama again. That will be really cool. But she did get a new course record there. And this rivalry, Luca Del Pero and Roberto Del Lorenzi, I am so interested to see how this shakes out this year.
Seconds. Seconds.
Seconds, 11 seconds.
That's
And
crazy.
I didn't realize because Francesco Pupi is here in town. He was just with EmKay, and now he's
Yes.
in Mammoth Lakes. Roberto, Luke, and Luca like live relatively in the same area. Like I think
Yeah.
they're homies.
Yeah. It's like
Um,
Roberto, Luca, and Francesco all live kind of close. Like close
Yeah,
enough that they
within an
can meet up.
hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Luca and Roberto, like eyes are peeled because that's gonna be really fun to watch.
Yeah. I hope it's a matchup we see several times this year.
Yes.
Because I'm also
Um,
curious, like, what does Roberto do at World Championships? Because Luca will probably do the short trail,
yeah.
if I had to guess. So if Roberto's also in the short trail, that's another matchup for them.
But Roberto's also signed up for OCC. So like, is he gonna do those back to back? I'm so curious to
A
see
lot of
who
people are supposedly, so
really
I think so.
interesting. I feel like it's the same. Remember last year? Wait, last year or 2 years ago? When was Worlds?
2 years ago.
Okay. It was was it Sagama Worlds Mont Blanc?
Zagama, Worlds, Mont Blanc, Sears, and Knoll even. There were like
And
women who did all of
OCC.
them. Yeah, like
I was just like, I mean, bow down.
couldn't be me.
I
Yeah.
would be in a stretcher. But yeah, I think that's gonna be a hard double this year,
Yeah,
especially because
it's later.
OCC Worlds, if you're in Golden Trail, but Worlds, I've heard that course is freaking hard. So yeah, crazy. Big Alta was smashing. The Hemmings did their normal Hemming thing. No surprise there. To me, the standout performance was Andy Wacker.
Yeah.
Like, new course record. The course was the same. The 50K had some changes. We haven't run it, so it's hard to say like if this one was faster or slower. Regardless, the Hemmings both still smashed
Dylan said
it.
it would be, so like, yeah, I do
Okay,
think it was a little faster this year.
okay.
But
Well,
the 26K
28K,
was or
yeah,
28 was the same.
yeah, and Andy Wacker just freaking flew. And as a big Andy Wacker fan, I mean, this guy is just like he has always supported everyone, like lifts everyone up, just like the people's champ, but also like the professionals champ. He's done so
Yeah.
much for the sport. And having had seen him go through like a rough patch, like through the surgeries and stuff like that. He ended up getting two surgeries? One
I don't
surgery.
remember. I
He
think
just has had a really
it's a
rough,
hard surgery to come back from.
yeah, like injury. To see him come back and smash it, and he's also like entering all these road races, it's like you can't help but cheer the guy on. And he's
It's funny
30,
because, oh,
37.
were you
How old is he? Oh, sorry.
37? Oh,
No, go
you should
ahead.
look on Ultra Sign Up. I was gonna say it was funny, like the week before Big Alta, because he's been throwing down these crazy road races, like anywhere from mile to 15K. If you follow Andy Wacker on Strava, you've been seeing him do some crazy stuff. And he did this, he posted an Instagram video of him doing a workout with Cade Michael the week before on hills. And he was like, man, I am not in hill shape. And I just wanted to like roll my eyes. I was like, whatever, Andy. And then he goes and crushes this race. I was like, it took you one workout to get back into hill shape. Like, you're fine.
I love it. He's 36, so he might be turning 37 this year.
Crushing.
Yeah.
Not
But like
slowing down.
to that point, he's 10 years older than Cade. Cade is 26.
Yeah.
Freaking Andy. That's so sick. Yeah, I hope this is like the start of just I hope he continues to have that success this year.
Yeah.
Um
Especially in a
Frances
World's Year.
yeah, especially in a World's Year. Francesco crushing at Chianti after Trans Gran Canaria. Judith already on a bender this year, just like winning everything she touches. Um and oh, the last like standout thing was the Mexico Sky Challenge. Anastasia Rupstova. She won by almost 45 minutes.
That's so crazy.
That's
She's so
crazy.
good at stuff like that. Like,
She's so
just
good.
super, super technical. Because that race looks insanely technical.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the like Skyrunner recap video, but they like have the camera on Abraham and there's like a voiceover and it's like, and Frederick starts picking up like he starts surging to the finish and it's like them navigating like this technical stuff. And it's like, yeah, he's moving really freaking fast. Like,
For what he's moving
yeah,
over.
yeah. But
Yeah.
it just like kind of is funny with the layover. But Abraham and Frederick both ran 4:18. They just like were
Also
separated.
seconds apart.
Yeah, after yeah, those Skyrunner races, man. But yeah, just some cool call outs for that.
Yeah, we love it. And then up next, I mean, we'll do some preview episodes, but we've got Calamaro Sky Race this weekend, which we're not doing a preview episode for, but make sure you guys go to Free Trail Fantasy because there are Free Trail Fantasy picks for Calamaro Sky Race. Which, if you guys don't remember, last year that was the race that we had the epic battle between Sarah Alonso and Julia Font. And then after that is Lake Sonoma, half marathon and 50 miler. And then after that, we start Golden Trail. Oh, and
Oh,
Gorges.
Gorge.
Gorges
Yeah.
also happens the same weekend. After that, we start Golden Trail World Series finally in
Kobe.
Japan. And then the following weekend in China. And the weekend of Japan is Canyons, I'm pretty sure.
That's okay.
Canyons is like the weekend of the 26th. So it could be the one week of China. But we got a lot of stuff going on. I'm sure there's other UTMB races happening as well, but these are the ones.
Kobe's the in between the third week. So it's like Lake Sonoma, Gorge, and Calamaro, right? And
Calamore
then
is this weekend.
oh, this weekend.
Yeah.
Then sorry. Gorge, Lake Sonoma, Kobe, China
And then
Canyons.
China Canyons. So it's a packed little month here in April, but we're
But we'll help
stoked.
you guys out. We'll help you guys
Yeah,
out.
because now we have something to talk about.
Yay!
We love talking about races. So, yeah, stay tuned. This month will be a bit more busy than the last couple months have been with us traveling and also it just being winter, you guys.
Yeah, totally. Well, don't forget to subscribe to the SubHub headlines and yeah, subscribe to here. Give us some stars on Spotify,
I
Apple
love
if you're enjoying
stars.
them. We love stars. Stars. And yeah, we hope you guys have a great day. This has been the SubHub Podcast.